Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be looking at this 3D printed Ent.
Scruffy Crow.
So yeah, I wanted something a bit more that fit with my sort of woodland, halfling, sort of naturey theme than the giant I already had. And I was sort of just having a look around for something nice to print, and I stumbled across this model, and something about it just sort of sang out at me. I wasn't sure if it was a little bit too cartoony at first. I'm still not sure that it's not. But for only a few dollars, the file, and I can print as many as I want, so I didn't really mind. The default size is only this tall, so that's only about 6 centimeters tall. So what I've actually done with this, the original sized one, is I've just based it on a, what's that, say 4x6 base for Warmaster. I don't know, I'm just going to paint him up and put him near my Warmaster stuff. I don't know if there's rules for tree men or Ents or anything in Warmaster. I don't know, I just wanted to see what he looked like printed at the original size. This one, however, I scaled up so he was a little bit taller, and the integral base he came with became a 50mm base. And I'm really happy with the way he's come out. Despite the fact we've almost sort of doubled his size, he's still retained quite a lot of detail and all of the character. So far all I've done is I've just stuck some sand on the bases, nothing too exciting. But there is one little conversion with the big guy that I am thinking about. This is Sam, as you can see from his base tab. This is one of the old Harlequin, I believe, Lord of the Rings miniatures, now supplied by Scotia Grendel as a halfling adventurer or halfling homebody. I can't remember which one he's set he's from. And he's pretty unoffensively armed. He's just got his little backpack and what appears to be a fishing hat, and he's just off on his adventures. Now my idea was, there's a little crook in this guy's head, and I was wondering if I could just pose this guy just so he's sat casually on top of this Ent's head, just with his feet dangling down. And I thought I'd make a really nice addition to my halfling army as a giant. I'm going to start with these old snips. So these have seen some wars. I certainly wouldn't use my sort of snazzy plastic snips that I saved just for those. And I'm going to take his base off. So now I'm going to be quite brutal with him, and I'm going to put a couple of snips just under his bottom. I'm going to try and go about halfway through, maybe a little bit less, of his legs, just like that. And that should allow me to bend these forward by sort of 90 degrees without it breaking. It's not the end of the world if it does break. That's what super glue's for. So we've got his legs stuck out more or less where we want them, and we're just trying to get him into this sort of crook in the tree. I think we're going to have to go for more of a sculpting scenario for this. So actually I think I might snip his legs off, just either side of his little crotch there, completely remove them, just because we're not getting it to mesh in too well to this little gap. So there we have just Sam's body without the legs. And what I will do is I'll run a little pin up into his torso and just down into this little section here, just so he sits neatly at the edge of there with just a little bit of way, so I can sculpt him a new bum, and then we'll sculpt his legs back in. Okay, so I've sunk a little pin into Sam here and into the top of the tree. I actually did also learn that the tree whistles. Don't know if you blow on him in the right place anyway. And then I've took Sam's feet off. One kind of twisted off anyway when I was messing with his legs. But I popped the other one off because I'm not very good at sculpting feet, and these are actually detailed on the bottom as well. And I've just glued these on just really gently there and there. So all I have to do now is just make him some little sausage legs, just with his knees bent out the front, and I think that'll work. Okay, and here we have his little green stuff legs. I'm pretty happy the way they've come out. I think they look about right, like he's perched on there. They join the feet up quite nicely. Got a little bit of clean up underneath the heels to do where he was on his base, but other than that, it's ready for a paint. Okay, so the whole guy was undercoated in Halfords Grey, and I've started with a Rhinox hide base on him, and then I'm going to use Bugman's Glow and Zandri Dust, I think, to try and get a sort of old oak, sort of grey-brown finish on him. And then once I've got all the tree parts done, I'll then work on the sort of green, mossy parts, and then paint the halfling last, I think. The Bugmans and the sands kind of made it look okay. I'm kind of happy with all the way all the details are coming out, but it's not quite grey or oaky enough for me at the moment. I'm going to try giving him a dry brush with this Celestia Grey. I'm a little bit worried about it's going to ruin the whole thing, but hopefully that'll just give me that like greyish oak colour I'm looking for. So after a dry brush of the grey, I was a little bit happier with the bark, and then I've gone round and picked out all the little leafy bits with some moot green. I think that's a really nice contrast. I'm really happy with the way that's looking now. I'm going to give these sort of rooty bits at the bottom and all the moot green bits a little bit of a wash now, just to bring out all those little details and just to sort of differentiate these sort of vine looking sections from the sort of solid bark bits. And then I think most of the paint on the Ent himself will actually be done, apart from his eyes, which I think I'm going to do kind of human-y. And here he is, all finished up, little halfling painted, and yeah, we've got the nice sort of grey effect that I was looking for on the trunk. And I've just painted the halfling in the same sorts of colour schemes that I've used for the rest of my army, so the same greens and grey trousers, and the same techniques on the leather and the blanket and everything. I also finished the base. So this was just 3D printed with the circle for this guy to go in to make him compatible for Oathmark, and another circle for this halfling. He's one of the cobblestone halflings, but he didn't have a room in any of the units because he's not got a spear or a sword. He was like a little adventurer, so I'm just going to add him to the front of this base, and I think that looks kind of cool. He's sort of leading the tree man into battle while his buddy is sat up in the branches. And I quite like that because it's almost like a little diorama, as well as being a usable piece for playing Oathmark. And that's all for this video. Please let me know what you thought down in the comments. Maybe subscribe for more. And as ever, thanks for watching. Bye.